In this lesson, we're going to learn how to create a soffit underneath the eaves. Currently, we have a building that has an overhang on two different sides, and we want to put that soffit underneath those two overhangs. To do this, we need to come underneath the Architecture tab, and where there's this Roof command, we can click, and we'll see that there's an option there for Roof Soffit. And I'm just going to select Roof Soffit now. It's going to ask, where do you want this roof soffit to be at? And in this case, level 2 is going to be fine. And it's asking that question because I'm currently inside of a 3D view and it didn't know which level to associate that soffit with. The next thing to do will be to go to the floor plan views and level 2 view. From here, we can start to draw in our soffit. Right next to the scale down here, there's a box, and it's the Visual Styles box, which we have used a lot. But near the very top, there's an option called Wireframe. If you turn on Wireframe, you'll be able to see where the edges of your walls are in relationship to the roof, because you'll be able to see through the roof. Now, this is important because when we draw on our soffit, we want to see where we need to draw it to. Now, the next thing we need to do is come over here, and we can pick the roof edges if we wanted to. I'm going to select right here, and we can see it's now drawn this line all the way around the perimeter. In the end, we're going to have to modify this a little bit, but it gives us a little bit of a head start. From here, select on the line tool, zoom in, and now pick from this point to this point, so right along the edge of the wall. And now do the exact same thing down below. Hit escape a couple times on the keyboard to get out of that function. Now the next thing I'd like to do is get rid of this inner piece here. So if we click on one of these lines, we should now pull it up till it gets to the intersection of this line and this line. Continue to do this all the way around so that we have two boxes, one small rectangular box at the top and one small rectangular box down at the bottom. Once we get to this stage, we can come up here and there's a green check mark for Finish Edit Mode, and that's what we need to do. This has now placed a soffit underneath our roof, and if we take a look at this in a 3D view, we'll see where it's placed our soffit. What we're going to need to do now is select on that soffit, make sure that it's highlighted, come in here to Properties, and then we're going to need to change the offset from the level so that soffit is a little bit lower, so it's in a more convenient location. In this case, I'm not exactly sure how far down that soffit needs to be. I'm going to start off by doing -1 foot, and we'll take a look at it. Let's try -2 foot instead and see where that places the soffit. I'm going to zoom in here. I'm going to even click on the right side of the view cube to spin this around so we can take a look. It looks like it needs to come up just a little bit more. I think maybe -1.6 foot should get us pretty close. Perfect. One other thing that I'd like to do is that now that the soffit's in that location, we can kind of see that it is overlapping the roof a little bit. What I'd like to do now is use the tool which is called the Join tool to join this soffit to where the edge of the roof is at. So to accomplish this, I'm going to start off by selecting on the roof, picking on Join, and now pick the roof and then the soffit. And now we can see how it cleans itself up with that edge of the roof. We'll be able to see it a little bit better if we look at it by clicking on one of the corners here of the view cube. So now that we have a soffit on the underneath side of our eaves. So to place a soffit in Revit, what you need to do is come underneath Architecture, find the down arrow here where you have your roof, and then you can apply your soffit to the underneath side of your roof surface.